Hey everybody, I'm Chef Chaya Ryvka from thelivingvision.com here on behalf of Living Tree Community Foods, and I'm going to be sharing with you a recipe for a superpower protein bar. It has a lot of different ingredients in it, all of which you can find at livingtreecommunityfoods.com or livingtreecommunity.com. And what we're starting with here is some almonds and some shredded coconut. That's what I have in the bowl here. So what you're going to do is take 1.5 cups of almonds and pulse them in your food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can chop them. And you don't want to chop them down too much, just so that they're a little broken up. And then you're going to put, with that, 1.5 cups of shredded coconut. Now what I'm going to do is add all of my dry ingredients to the bowl, and then we'll mix our wet ingredients separately and then put the two together. So we have 1.5 cups of broken almonds, 1.5 cups of shredded coconut, and I'm going to add to that 1/2 cup of sunflower seeds, and I also have 1/2 cup of cacao nibs. To that I'm adding 1/4 cup of whole sesame seeds, and I'm adding another 1/4 cup of sesame seeds that I powdered. Okay, next up, what I have here, this is 1.5 cups of soaked and dehydrated buckwheat. So basically what you do is you're going to go and buy some raw buckwheat, unroasted, untoasted, and soak that overnight, and then let that drain and rinse it, and do that a couple times throughout the day. If you want to wait for a small tail to grow on it, you can do that. Or if you soak it for 6 to 8 hours and then rinse it a couple times and let it drain well, that's ready to be used as well. And you'll just stick that into your dehydrator and let it dry for 4 or 5 hours. You don't need a Teflon sheet. If you don't have a dehydrator, then you can just cut this ingredient out, and the energy bar will still be delicious. Buckwheat is a wonderful digestible source of protein. So there's our 1.5 cups, and I just pulsed the dried, the soaked and dehydrated buckwheat in my food processor briefly. So I'm also adding some hemp seeds, which is also a complete source of protein, as well as balance of your EFAs, your essential fatty acids. So I'm adding some 3/4 cup of hemp seeds to that as well. Now I also have some chia seeds here, and I've ground these chia seeds in my spice grinder. And this is the white chia that Living Tree Community carries, which is nice because it's going to keep the color of this bar light. But you can use the dark ones as well, if that's what you have on hand. So there I have 1/4 cup of chia seeds that I ground in my spice grinder. And finally, to the dry, well, this is my dried fruit or berry. This is a 1/2 cup of goji berries, and that's a super antioxidant, high mineral food, longevity food. And we're just adding that whole. And now I'm going to add some one superfood, maca. So I have 6 tablespoons of maca here, and that's a wonderful energy food and hormone balancer, plus so much more. High source of minerals. And now some flavor enhancers. I'm adding some ground cinnamon. That's 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of Living Tree's vanilla powder. And then we're going to add some salt. And the salt brings out and balances all of the flavors. So we're going to add 3/4 teaspoon here of some salt. 1, 2, 3. That's perfect. And now we're going to mix all of those ingredients together. You just want the dry ingredients completely mixed. It'll make it much easier when we incorporate the wet ingredients, if these are already well combined. Okay, that's great. So you can see we have a nice dry mix going right there. Now what I'm going to do is in a separate bowl, I'm going to mix some of our wet ingredients, starting with some melted cacao butter. And I'm using 10 tablespoons or a half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of some melted cacao butter. And a couple ways to melt your cacao butter. One would be to put it into a container and set it in your dehydrator for a couple hours. Or you can chop it up finely, put it into a metal bowl and boil some water, then turn off the heat source and just place the metal bowl right over the water so the steam comes up and gently melts that butter. Thank you. That's Hodaya, my son. He's in the background there. Oh, you're going to get a peek of him. Okay, so next what we're going to add is some honey for a sweetener. And if you're using agave, you can use agave for this as well, or maple syrup. All of those sweeteners will be excellent. I'm using honey today. And this instrument I'm using is called the Metric Wonder Cup. They have similar tools at most kitchen supply stores, and it's just a wonderful measuring tool, especially for stuff like this, which is sticky and thick and a liquid. And you see, not only can I pour it out, but I can push it all right out. It scrapes the bowl for me, and then I just have to scrape off that top. Uh-oh. Okay, last wet ingredient here is some almond butter. And the almond butter, again, I'm using, if I can open it, I'm using 10 tablespoons. There we go. Of Living Tree's almond butter. So I'm just going to bring this right up to 10 tablespoons. And measure that out. This is beautiful, creamy, fresh, raw, living almond butter. Hody likes it. He was eating some of this for breakfast. And he actually really likes these bars too. So for any of you mommies or daddies out there, this is something that your kids would really enjoy too. Okay. Here's our almond butter. Now we're just going to mix these 3 ingredients together. Okay, those are all mixed very well. Now I'm taking my dry mix and I will add my wet mix to it. Okay, and this part is actually much easier to mix by hand. I'll see if I can, no, I'm not going to be able to do this with the spatula. So I'm going to get my hands a little dirty here, and so can you. I'm just going to get all of these ingredients to combine with that wet mix. So I'm just giving it a kneading type of mix. Or motion, I should say, in order to incorporate all of the dry with all of the wet ingredients. Now that we've mixed all that, we will you'll be ready to either form your bars, or if you have an ice cream scoop like this, or you want to form it into balls or bites, you can do that as well. So for the one that I'm going to be demonstrating later, I actually formed it into bars by taking an 8x8 inch pan, and I lined it using my Teflex sheet from my dehydrator, but if you don't have those, you can just use saran wrap. And then I filled that with the mix here and pressed it down so that it was even and reached all the corners, and I'll show you here how that looks afterwards. You see it's all pressed down. Let's pull that out so you can actually see it. Okay, so that's how it looks. And you just make a nice even layer a loose, even layer, and then press it down into place. And then you can smooth that out afterwards using a spatula. Thank you. Odie's passing me chia seeds. So that is one method. The other method, and then once you take that out, you would transfer it to your cutting board and cut that into your desired size bars or bites. And I also wanted to show you how you can just use an ice cream scoop. I have a 1 ounce ice cream scoop here, and you can just use that. This is a plastic tray, so it won't stick to this tray, or you could use a Teflon sheet. Oh, that one fell apart. Or you could use a cookie sheet with wax paper. All of the above will work just fine. Thank you. And then what you'll do after that is you'll take those and stick them in the refrigerator where they'll firm up after about 20 minutes or so, and enjoy as is. So here we have our bar, and what you would do with that is using a sharp knife. You could actually dip the knife in hot water as well, and that will make the cutting of it much easier. My knife is not currently dipped in hot water, but then just work your way through, and then you would cut that into your desired bite, or perhaps if you're doing a bar, just cut it in half. And there you have a delicious and filling, hi darling, you probably want some, a delicious and filling, high protein, mineral rich energy bar. Okay, come on up here. There we go. So thanks for joining us. Again, I am Living Foods Chef Chaya Ryvka from thelivingvision.com, here with Living Tree Community Foods, and this is your recipe for a superpower energy protein bar. Yes. Okay. Here, would you like some?